And we are live with another edition of Let's Talk Broncos with your host, Kurt Valenti. Good evening, Mr. Valenti. How are you?
Um, Pretty good. Not good with the week one result, but we'll get into that. But overall, everything's pretty good. How are you, Mrs. Valenti?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, actually. So, while you get to tagging there, and before we dive right in, let me go through some of our programming that we have on our sports channel. I guess I'm going to call it a sports channel.
Yeah.
So, um, you and I have been teaming up for our high school sports show on Tuesday evenings. We cover all things, I would say North Jersey sports, but I like to say that any sports team in any part of the country, we would be willing to cover. We have covered. So again, if you're watching and you know someone who you would like to see featured, please reach out to us and let us know. Um, we also are doing a specific conference this fall, and we've been focusing on NJIC football in Northern New Jersey, and we will be live on Friday evening at 6:30 p.m. I'm sorry, 6 p.m. for pregame at Woodridge High School as they play host to St. Mary's High School in an NJIC matchup. We actually have a few comments already, so let me get to those. Michael saying, "Good evening, Kurt and Jen. Bo Leave. God bless Bo Nix and go Bo Broncos."
What's up, Michael?
All right, we've got Roy checking in saying, "Good evening, Kurt and Hoops. I can sense a rant on week one. LOL. Gotta love it."
Probably,
Maybe,
Roy.
maybe,
Probably.
maybe. Could be is right. Um, but yeah, and then you and your K&K counterparts offer a lot of different programming as well. Wednesday night, your usual K&K show. You, Carson, Kenny, Paul, Kenny and Paul team up for New York Giants football. Sometimes they do a little New York baseball, which is Yankees and Mets. Carson and another one of your K&K counterparts, Clam, sometimes with Kenny joining them, do a little wits and wagers for all your wagering needs. Ryan Scoops Woodham also does a little Sunday or Monday evening show for some of his sports teams. He's Philadelphia Eagles, Colorado Rockies, in which sometimes he teams up with your West Coast counterparts at Denver Bronco Roundup. So that's what we got going on.
We got a lot.
It's a
We got a
lot.
lot. And we got
It's
a lot to talk about tonight, Jen. Week one in the books. You watched it with me, the majority of it. Um, hey, it was we knew this wasn't going to be easy. We knew this was going to be a tough one in that building. Opening day, the crowd is just crazy over there. And we had chances. We had chances throughout this game up until third down before we get the ball back down six, right? So, hey, we'll get into it. Not how we wanted to start, but I'm going to be honest. I'm not upset, not worried. Just, hey, this is what.
Well, that's my first question for you tonight. You know, should you panic? And let me say there's like people who are like, you know, during preseason, all right, Bo's the guy, Bo's the guy, Bo's the guy. After this first week performance, are you worried? And or like do you need to go look what's your thoughts on it? Because there's people who are, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Listen, this is gonna happen all year, Jen. I mean, it might happen for 2 years, but it's definitely gonna happen for Look at the number one pick, Caleb Williams, right? Can't miss prospect number one. He threw for 94 yards on Sunday, right? Jalen Daniels with the loss, ran for same but passing yards, same thing. Listen, it's ups and downs, and you're on the road in a place where we don't win. I think, what was the last time they said the last time the Broncos won in Seattle? It was forever ago.
Mhm.
And you know it's but I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. Well, let me ask something. Are you talking about the team, or are we talking about Bo Nix?
Well, you know what? That's a great distinction. First, let's talk about Bo Nix.
No, I'm not worried about Bo Nix. Did he make a couple of mistakes? Yeah. Again, rookie mistakes. It's gonna happen. You know, it's this is probably the toughest week for rookie quarterbacks, right? Why? Because in the preseason, Jen, a lot of teams, A, they might not play their defensive starters, but B, they're playing a vanilla defense, right? They're not
Mhm.
to show what they're going to run. So you really have a whole, I mean, what the season, what's it come out in April? The schedule comes out in April. So you have what? May, June, July, August. You have 4 months to game plan, right? Like, okay, even, oh, well, here comes the draft. You're still going to have 3 months to game plan for a rookie quarterback, and it's stuff you never seen, you haven't seen. So did it get to him a little bit? Yeah. I mean, did he make throws where you're like, that's our guy? Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. But for Bo Nix, I'm not worried. I'm absolutely not. I'm not worried.
All right. Well, we got Pearl checking in saying
What's up,
hi
Pearl?
all. Hi Pearl. Thanks for watching. Hope all is well. All right. So what about the team?
A little bit, a little bit. What it showed me, I think what I saw on Sunday, Jen, was especially offensively, we don't have quote unquote, you know, the guy in the receiving core. We don't quote unquote have the guy in the running back room, right? Listen, I love Javonte Williams. I loved him coming out of North Carolina. Loved when the Broncos drafted him. He had an unbelievable rookie year. Horrific injury last year. He came back ahead of schedule. Loved it. But you know, second play of the second play of on offense, they're running like they're running his own cutback. I mean, he walks in the end zone, walks, he falls down. He's not a number one running back in the NFL. We don't have a number one running back in the NFL. We don't have a number one receiver in the NFL. We have no one who could separate. We don't have, you know, um, we just don't, and I'm going to get into that later. You've watched teams and when teams really go for it. And again, like, we're not going to go for it right now this year. We're not a Super Bowl contender, but next off season, the off season after that, we got to go get some guys. We got to go get some legit number one receiver, number one tight end, number one running back. We don't have that on our roster right now.
I've got Roy's comment up there because he's agreeing with you. We don't have the guys anywhere, he's saying. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we got a comment from Keith saying, not worried about Bo Nix. When do you worry about him?
No, absolutely not. I mean, listen, what was his one staring down his number one concern? I saw someone the other night just stare somebody right down. I forgot. I don't know if it was Rodgers or, I mean, doesn't Dak Prescott do it? Doesn't Lamar Jackson always do it? I mean, Lamar Jackson still can't read a defense. He's year 6. So no, I mean, I'm not worried about him at all. Now, get back to me in 2-3 weeks. Okay. Again, this is probably going to be that was probably the toughest game he's going to face all season. It's in a hostile environment. That place is ridiculously loud. And you have 4 months to prepare to throw at a rookie quarterback defenses he's never seen, right? 4-month preparation for that game. And you know what? I'm going to say this, you have more than a 50% chance we win that game if Riley Moss, if they don't make an incredible catch and Riley Moss gets a fingertip on a football, ball's back in his hand. So am I worried about him? No, I'm not.
Let me get a couple of these comments in. I'm going to work my way backwards because I want to pose the next question that's coming from Keith because I think it's a good one. Peter saying George Payton absolutely crippled this team financially. It's going to take some time. People need to be patient. Pearl's agreeing. We don't have the playmakers. You are so right. Peter also pointing out that you don't have the cash, which is what he was referring to about George Payton absolutely crippling the team financially. Whatchamacallit. And I have a comment from Keith here when we're talking. A lot of people seem to be agreeing with you about the weapons, but he's saying we don't have the weapons. Or is it that we don't have a quarterback that makes them formidable? or a threat, which is a great point because how many, don't you want that quarterback that makes those guys better?
Of
You know,
course,
yeah.
100%, of course, and listen, that he's gotta be better than he was on Sunday, and he will be, but, I mean, if anyone's worried about Bo Nix, I mean, do bags go on their heads in Chicago for Caleb Williams, the number 1 pick, who has DJ Moore, who has, like, a legit running back, who has weapons all over the field, Keenan Allen, and that's the performance at home? So, again, there's ups and downs. You saw John Elway's stats opening game, right, Jen? They showed it the other night.
Mhm.
That wasn't pretty. That wasn't remember, he got benched too. That wasn't pretty. But again, Mark Schlereth said this last year. Every NFL team, okay, Jen, and I truly believe this, every NFL team is equal except 4 players. Except 4 players. If you look Sunday, let's be honest, Kenneth Walker and DJ, the combination of Metcalf, Smith, and Lockett, that was better than our skill guys. That's it. Geno Smith wasn't good on Sunday. Geno Smith was horrible on Sunday. Horrible. But you know what? Their guys can make plays one-on-one, right? Throw it up. Hey, Metcalf made a couple plays on Surtain. We don't have that. We don't. And this is where Roy wanted a rant. I'm not going to get into a rant, but this is where I'm going to get into people with this whole draft pick. And again, this is something, again, this isn't a rumor. It was just, they were just bringing it up, right? All these people like, well, let's get, we got to save it. We can't go trade picks for this guy and that guy because we have to draft and develop it. Well, Cortland Sutton never developed into a number 1, right? Mims, you traded up for last year. He might not even be a starting wide receiver in this league, right? Reynolds is, a borderline starter. But on a better roster, he doesn't start,
Let
right?
me ask you this. Would you rather have Jerry Judy right now with Bo Nix?
Jerry Judy would be the most talented player on this roster, receiver wise. Yeah, I would. Yeah. He's a better receiver than anybody on that roster, hands down. Yes. But here's my point. And again, we're looking ahead and stuff. And again, listening to Benjamin Albright. This was pregame Sunday, and he was just saying, they were talking about the Jamar Chase thing with Cincinnati, how 2 years left on his contract. Cincinnati basically was like, we don't extend you. We only extend quarterbacks. We're not extending a wide receiver. Basically, Jamar Chase has to play this year. He has no leverage, right? But next year, he's got leverage. All right? He's got leverage saying, you're not extending me. I'm not playing next year. I'm going to sit out. I'm not going to play. And they were just saying, would a team like the Denver Broncos, like, yes, that's where I don't care about draft picks. You need a guy, and I'm not going to say Jamar Chase is the guy, but if a guy like Jamar Chase is available, you do everything you can to go get him. Same thing running back wise, right? Remember this year, people didn't want Alvin Kamara. Remember, we don't want Kamara. He's old. Kamara doesn't fall down on the second play of our offensive series in the first drive, and he walks in the end zone. That's the difference. And then you win that game. That's the difference, right? If you want to win and you want to win that, when you could go get way above talent, you have to do it any way possible. We have to do it through the draft. But everybody, Mims is through the draft. Second round pick. He can't get on the field year 2. Cortland Sutton still is not a number 1. He was a second round pick. So if things become available, like Christian McCaffrey became available from the Panthers, you go and you trade for guys like that, especially when you don't have the talent. Okay, we don't. We keep yelling, we got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. And I'm the first one that's saying, you got to run the ball. This league now, Jen, we went through all the stats. This is a run-first league. There's no more 400 yards, 500 yards. That's not going to happen anymore on a consistent basis. Teams are smart now. Teams understand. Kansas City is a run-first team. Baltimore is a run-first team. right? Philly's back. You see Philly with Barkley? You want the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands? Not me. Put it in Barkley's hands. That's how you win. Brock Purdy. It doesn't matter. We don't have McCaffrey. Put Mason in there. Run right up. That's how you're going to win in this league. They're smart. Everybody now is taking the 49ers and so that's how it works. Yes, that's how it always worked. It never changed. It never changed. So you have to be able to run the ball. But I'm going to defend Jody Moncrief here. You have to have capable backs. Okay, Jen, we were watching that game. I said, look, oh my God, look at this hole. Look at this cutback. He fell down.
It happened like 5 times.
You need a stud. You can't have second-rate talent and say, well, it's not work. Well, you got to upgrade the talent. And that's what we're going to see by the end of this year, where that talent has to be upgraded, right? Do we need new linebackers? Riley, I'm glad that Riley Moss, we're seeing Riley Moss right now. Will Riley Moss be the cornerback when we start becoming championship contenders opposite of Pat Surtain? We're going to see that. Because if he can't handle it, get him to see you and get somebody in. Because you can't have a number 2 corner that every team is going to pick on that's not a viable starter in the NFL. You can't. Same thing with the offense. It's with everything. But you cannot throw out, we can't separate our receivers can't separate. Their difference is throw it up to DK Metcalf, go make a play. That's the difference. But getting back to Mark Schlereth, he said, Jen, and I want you to agree or disagree with me. He said every team is equal. He says, you know what it's going to come down to? They have Mahomes and Kelsey, and you have, Knicks and Cortland Sutton. That's the difference of the game, right? That's what it comes down to. Who's going to perform out of those two? That's it. Everything else is equal.
You asked me if I agree or disagree. I agree to a degree. Because, what good is Mahomes if he doesn't have a good line protecting him, right? So, there's a little more to it than that, though I guess he could just hand it off, but you need him to make the big plays when he can.
Right.
Okay, I want to get to a couple of these comments if you don't mind, because I thought that Peter Johnson saying in your Kansas City scenario there, they also have Andy Reid, don't forget, right?
Yeah.
So, but our next, we critiqued Bo Nix, but what we didn't critique was Sean Payton. And Trevor makes a great comment, which I thought was the perfect segue here. You have to start blaming the architect of this offense at some point. Since Payton has arrived in Denver, it's been rough on the offensive side of the ball. And I think that's a good point. And we talked about Bo Nix's performance. What about Sean Payton?
Listen, underachieved. Totally underachieved. I will say this. He got out coached on Sunday. He did. Hey, their new head coach it was, you could have coordinators in name, but you know what? He called the defense, Sean Payton called the offense. And you know what? He got out coached. He did. Hey, the game was never really, our defense kept us in the game. How many times early? We should have put that game away. Boom, early. Again, Javonte Williams should walk into the end zone. Walk in. That game, that hole there is a high school back can score there. The hole was so big. He falls down, right? Dropping passes. Reynolds dropped the pass. Who else dropped the pass? Was it Humphreys dropped the pass? See, little Jordan Humphrey. He's not an NFL receiver. He shouldn't be on the he's your number 6 or 7 guy or practice squad. He shouldn't be playing meaningful. He shouldn't be playing meaningful minutes in a football game. He's not a top receiver. He's not even a top. He's not an NFL caliber, rotational top 3 or top 4 receiver. Same thing with the tight ends. We don't have that. We have to upgrade that. And again, it's that Evan. Hey, we might have to trade for somebody. I'm not saying people are going to be available. What I'm saying is if a guy like Jamar Chase hits the market or Cincinnati, we're not doing this. you got to be all in to go get a guy like that. Why? Because you're not going to, in the next 2, 3 years, your odds are you're not going to get a Jamar Chase in the draft. So why not just go get Jamar Chase? Right, Jet? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my point. I'm not saying Cincinnati is going to trade him. I mean, who knows? They might sign him to an extension. But if they don't and he's available, go get him. Just like the Niners got McCaffrey. Anytime a guy like that, a Tyreek Hill, remember Tyreek Hill's available, go and get that. That's game changing. All these teams, we're going to find the next time. You can't find the next. There's no receiver in football like Tyreek Hill. Nobody's like Tyreek Hill. So if you could go get him, go get him.
All right,
That's what I'm
let
saying.
me get a couple of these comments in here. Let me read them, Kurt, without you
Yep.
interjecting, please, so we can get them caught up. Pearl saying outcoached and outplayed. Trevor saying drafting and develop has to be much better. Broncos have 2 wide receivers taken in the top 100 that aren't doing much in this offense. Not time to panic, but there is definitely concerns moving forward. We talked about Bo Nix. We talked about Sean Payton. Pearl's kind of weighing in on Vance Joseph, saying that he never changed after halftime. What'd you think of his performance? Just give me a quick.
Listen, that defense, again, the defense came out. I was like, wow, they look fast. They look like aggressive. This is nice. But here's the problem with the Vance Joseph defense, Jen. When the money's on the line and you got to get off the field, he couldn't get off the field again. He could,
Well,
you know what? Listen, as bad as that offense was, and okay, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Hey, Bo brought him right down to the field, made it a 1-score game. And you know what? We jump off sides instead of 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11. Now it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5, and we can't get off the field again. And you know what? I'm sorry, but the difference between winning and losing is in this game is like inches, they say, right? And you know what? If you get off the field, you hand the ball to Bo Nix and Sean Payton, and we see we never saw it because we couldn't get off the field again. So you know what? Yeah, what they did in the first half, but second half when adjustments were made, Vance Joseph again, no answers defensively second half.
Keith's disagreeing, saying that Vance Joseph did amazing, but he is agreeing that the defense got tired in week 1, being forced to be on the field for so much time. Keith is also saying that there's a lot of Sean Payton hate here, right? Go get yourself Hackett
Oh
back.
yeah,
Right?
listen,
We'll be begging for Sean Payton.
I agree with you. I agree. You see, I mean, let me ask something. Is there any coaching staff in football worse than the New York Jets? They just looked clueless on Monday night. Oh my God. I never thought an organization could ruin Aaron Rodgers. They might. They
And he
might.
looks, and Aaron Rodgers just looks so perturbed
Oh,
by the
just
whole thing.
bad. Just bad. I mean, listen, those guys aren't coming back next year. They're done. Both
The
of those guys.
Trevor saying that Payton is getting paid $18 million a year. Denver had to give up a first and second round pick to get him in the door. It is unacceptable to get
That
out coached by a first time head coach in his first game.
best comment of the night, Jen.
Yeah.
Best comment of the night. And I agree with him. And it's why, you know what? All that statement there, especially the first one, getting paid 18 million a year. Plus, I got to pay a quarterback to sit in Pittsburgh. You know what? You better not be 4-13. I'm telling you right now. I am not paying for you for $18 million to win 4 games and get out coached by a rookie coach. Because as hard, again, I think this is the toughest road game we're going to face all year. This place is crazy. This place is just nuts opening night there.
Let me ask you
But let,
something.
let me get back to one thing, Jen. And you know what? You could have been there. That's where the $18 million should have come in. Because you know what? Steal that game. Steal it. You should have won that game.
Well, I'm going to go in a different direction with you. Is it better to get those see this, get these, work these kinks out, have Bo Nix play in that atmosphere, get this game under his belt? It was bound to be ugly in this type of game, rather than maybe opening it home with a more winnable game and having him throw in a lackluster performance. Like, maybe it's better to happen this way
Yeah, let
on
Jen.
the road in a difficult atmosphere.
Jen, see, it's gonna happen, right? Because you know, you. I don't want to use the word you're expected to lose the game, but you're probably chalking it up, right? Like, is Baltimore no good because they lost at Kansas City, right? I mean, are the Jets no good because they lost in San Francisco? I mean, you're going to places that are hard, right? You're going to places where, as good as Baltimore is, as good as the Jets are going to be, as good as, Green. Well, I mean, I'm not Green Bay. I'm not a Jordan Love fan, but like, these teams went on the road and lost, right? Like, you're expecting the point spread. The Vegas is saying you're not going to win that game, right? So, you know, yeah. So yeah, Jen, like, the experience he's going to get. And again, you have to remember, 4 months, this coaching staff in Seattle had to game plan against for a rookie quarterback, and listen, you're right there, but you take the visual and you take the eye test and you just look at, like, some of those plays, Bo Nix, and you're like, yeah, that's the guy. Like, you don't do that with Bridgewater or Brissett. You don't do that with those guys. You
Well, we
don't.
got it. Let me get a couple more comments in here. Matt Staffiero checking in, and
What's up, Matt?
this comment, we're 20 minutes in, but this comment was kind of discussed earlier, but he's agreeing lack of playmakers, right? It's going to hurt Bo's development. Someone has to step up. Offensive skill positions fell flat. He's
Right, but
also
see,
saying,
but I'm listening. Matt's 1,000%. But this was my comment all night, Jen. If you can't wait forever for people to step up. If they don't step up, you got to go get other people and bring them in any way possible. Trades, free agency, draft. That's what I'm saying. We can't wait forever for Mims to develop, Franklin to develop, Sutton to be. You're giving people a chance, right? Like we're giving a chance, but I mean, how many balls are you dropping on this kid? Like, that's the thing. You have a rookie quarterback, right, on the road in Seattle. You did horrendous. Your run game was horrendous, and you're dropping balls left and right. Nobody helped him out. Did look at the catch that wins the game. That's helping your quarterback out. A one-hand catch to seal that game. That wasn't a good throw, right? It really was. I mean, honestly, probably shouldn't have even thrown that ball. I mean, that another step, that could be a pick six for Riley Moss. But you know what? Your players make an unbelievable play. That's what you need. And if we don't have that, it's just, all right, well, try it next year. Try it next year. No, you have to go out now. Now we have to go out starting, whether it's this year during the season and especially starting next offseason, and getting better in those spots. Okay. Hey, we might have to pay. We might have to give up draft picks. Who cares? Again, I argued this all summer. Alvin Kamara is better than any running back on our roster. It showed on Sunday. People didn't want him, but you know what? Our running backs cost us a victory week 1. Same thing with receivers. We have to go get more talent.
right. Well, again, and that is another thing that I've had Matt's comment up there for a little while now. His second comment that don't think Peyton is to blame for the shortcomings this past week. Lack of offensive talent is going to be a hurdle. But then we got Peter and Keith making some good points. Let me just get these in here, Kurt. Peter saying 2 safeties and the turnovers early. Offense should have ended it by halftime. Right. Keith saying don't throw an interception at the 1-yard line, and VJ's defense wouldn't need to come save the day in the waning minutes. He's let's see. I want to see. I wanted to get some more in here. There's so many. Michael saying, "Give me Sean Payton over Nathaniel Hackett
Me
anytime."
too. Me too.
Pearl Sutton with the dropped catchable passes. Right. There was one I saw here that I wanted to. Let's see. I think that's it for the ones I kind of wanted to get in here. All right.
Yeah, Jen, listen, again, like, we sit here we sit here all the time and we talk about it with our Knicks, right? Oh my God, this coach and that scheme. And listen, Tom Thibodeau did a great job when he first came in, right? But I mean, do you want, oh my God, I can't even why can't I think of his name? You want Alfred Payton at your point guard. I mean, there's just where you got to bring in Jalen Brunson. Like it's just there's a point where it's just not going to work, right? They're not. Reggie Bullock and Alfred Payton. They're not winning playoff series. They're not. I'm sorry, they're not. It just you have to upgrade that, and you know what? When you upgrade it, now you're a championship contender. It's the same coach, same system, but you know what? You can only go as far as people you have. You don't scare anybody with Cortland Sutton, little Jordan Humphrey, and Reynolds. That doesn't scare anybody. I'm sorry, it doesn't,
All right,
and it's not gonna.
let me get two more comments in here. We're talking about Keith saying how, oh, look how Tampa and their weapons look so much better when Brady arrived, right? Like the quarterback
Of
matters.
course.
And Trevor saying that, Sean Payton isn't just the head coach. He's also has a big say in the roster. And most of these guys are Payton's guys. So he's saying, why isn't he to blame? He helped bring some of these guys in. Okay. And Keith saying,
Well, he is. He is to blame.
you
He's
can't. Yep, and he's saying you can't buy yourself a championship through free agency in the NFL. You have to develop. What do you think
I,
about that?
No, I totally disagree. You have to do all three. You have to be able to draft some. You have to be able to when you can make a trade and you can upgrade your talent immensely, you do it at any cost, right? Miami Dolphins going to get Tyreek Hill. San Francisco 49ers going to get Christian McCaffrey. When you could get guys like that. Now, I'm not just saying go trade for, Alan Lazard. I'm not saying that.
There's very specific players that I
Right,
don't
but
think
when
the
you could
list
go
is
like
long.
I'm just gonna swear, Jamar Chase in the future, if CD Lamb didn't sign, if he's out there, the Tyreek Hills, you go get them. You're not gonna again. You're looking. Okay, I'm gonna find the next Tyreek Hill. Well, no one's found him since he's been in the league, right? So it's not like I'm gonna develop this guy, develop that guy. Like, I mean, Cortland Sutton never developed, right? Like Cortland Sutton went through how many coaches? Is it that they, all those coaching staffs couldn't develop him, or is Cortland Sutton who is he? Who he is? Who he is? He's a number 2 receiver. Little Jordan Humphreys again. Like, in my opinion, a waste of a roster spot. What does he do? What is he gonna do? Like, I mean, come on, nobody respects him. They don't fear him come on, dropping balls. Like, no, like you're not going to develop him. He is who he is.
Keith saying that we bought our entire O-line and D-line. Our pockets are almost empty. And here's a great comment from David Slade. Did everyone really think that this team has talent to compete? This is a rebuilding process that will take several cycles to get us to where we need to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
But I will say this, and I agree with Dave and what's going on, Dave. Again, by the way, Jen, Dave and his wife, this summer, first time New York City trip. And
they hit up everything.
He loved it. They hit up everything, man. They got everything in. So I hope they had a great trip.
Yeah,
But
hope you enjoyed it.
But you know what now? But here's the thing. See, all I heard, and I agree, all I heard was the right way to do it is get your quarterback. He's on a rookie deal. Do what the 49ers do. That's what we have to do. Now, you're not paying anything for a quarterback. So you know what? Go spend it everywhere. Go get the most talent you can while you're paying. Because hopefully, you know what, Jen? Hopefully, we're paying Bo Nix $50 and $60 million a year. That's what you want, right? Isn't that your number one goal? Isn't that what, if things go right, that's what it should be?
Well, that's kind of I kind of wanted to get to. I had a question for you, and David's comment about the rebuilding process is kind of lead me there. He's saying he can't wait to come back to New York City
Yep.
next time. We'll get together for from Jersey Pie.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. And so if it's this rebuilding process, and even Michael had commented before how this is like a is Bo the guy year. How do you, let's say his performance doesn't get better than what he showed on Sunday? Do you keep playing him week after week? Like, how much time does he get to you see if he's the guy?
Well, he's got to be the guy. And
No,
listen
no,
to me.
no, no.
Well,
That's not my no, no, no. No, in my scenario, he's not the guy. You can't say that. You don't
well,
know.
if
Let's
he's
say,
not the guy, if he's not the guy, knock, knock, knock. Sean, come into this office and sit down
well,
because
what are
I
you
pay. Hold
doing?
on, but
Are
wait.
you playing Stidham?
I'm paying you 18 million. You told me to get rid of the quarterback that I just signed to an extension, and you want I'm paying for him to go play for another team. And you said all the problems are going to be solved when you pick
See,
your quarterback.
David gave me an answer to the question. He said you keep playing him and
Yeah,
you draft another quarterback next year,
yeah.
right?
And
So that's
I'm with David because I this is why, and I am 1000% with David on this. The quarterback position, Jen, is so different than any position in any sports. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just saying, if you took if the Broncos took Bo Nix at number 12, right? I'm just
I disagree. I
no, no,
think
but
wait,
hold
wait,
on.
wait.
The
I think
Broncos.
the
Go ahead.
quarterback wait. I think the quarterback position is just like the point guard position in basketball, to be honest with you.
No, I'm going to tell you. No, see, I'm going to say this. There's no other position like it because here's my thing. So we took Bo Nix at number 12. I'm just throwing this scenario out. Okay. I'm just throwing this scenario out. We're terrible. We win 3 games. We have the number 2 pick in next year's draft. If you turn around and you say, Carson Beck is a better prospect than Bo Nix, draft him. See, that's the Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen. We drafted him. So now, no, I've always believed that no matter who you are, because why would you screw yourself twice? You can't screw yourself at that quarterback position. That'll always work. Again, I don't think this is going to happen because I'm a Bo Nix guy, and I think Bo Nix is going to be our quarterback. But I'm just saying, if you really wow, I could get Carson. I like Bo Nix didn't work out, and I'm sitting there and Carson Beck, who I would rate higher than him if they were in the same draft. You could always move Bo Nix, right? Someone will take Bo Nix. So I don't believe that, right? I don't believe. So I agree with Dave. I agree with Dave if he doesn't work out. But I'm telling you right now, I'm bringing Sean Payton into the office, and I'm going to say your job's on the line because not only am I paying you 18 million, I'm paying Russell Wilson because you're saying he's not the guy here, and the only problem we really didn't win is because he was here, and things we're gonna be right out of the gate with you with your handpicked guy. And if
Just
that doesn't work,
just a
he's got to
reminder,
answer
my
it.
question wasn't what would you do with Sean Payton if that happened? My question is what would you do with Bo Nix? So are you playing him or are you not playing it?
I'm
I
playing
told you David
every
Slade said
snap, every
David
snap,
David Slade said keep playing him and you
every
draft
snap.
another quarterback.
Yep.
Peter Johnson saying unless the line can't protect him and he's getting the crap beaten out of him, you cannot bench him, right? Keith is saying that's why Jared Stidham should have started the first 4
No,
games.
no,
And Trevor saying he doesn't think that the Broncos are really in a full rebuild.
I
He
don't
said,
either.
he said, can you let me finish
Yep,
reading
I
the
am.
comment? Okay. He said, I would say they're more of a retool. Look at how many veterans are playing over the young guys. I don't believe you're rebuilding with Sean Payton as the head coach.
I agree. I totally agree, and I think that's why, um, you know, again, it's one game. I don't want to get crazy because, listen, I mean, I picked Denver last week. I did, but it's very hard to go into that building and win. It really is, especially early on in the year when that crowd's fired up. It's probably a top 3 most hostile and toughest place to go. And you're asking a rookie quarterback to do it again. You look at the number 1 pick, right? Caleb Williams. I mean, if we were doing this on a Bear show, again, people would be jumping off bridges. The guy had 94 yards. 94. But you know what? Listen, I mean, they got the win. He's gonna make mistakes. What he saw last week, okay, what he saw last week against Tennessee, he never saw at USC. They don't show that, Bo Nix never, and again, 4 months to get ready for these rookie quarterbacks. Bo Nix, you'll see how much better he's. And again, they're going against Pittsburgh's defense. That's another top defense, but it's at home, no crowd noise. It's hey, every week, again, every week with Bo Nix.
Jeremy checking in saying
What's up,
start him all
Jeremy?
year. You can't
Nope.
bench him. And then this is an interesting comment from Trevor. He's saying if Bo doesn't work out, Sean Payton doesn't get to take another quarterback high in the draft, in my opinion. He's saying, how can you trust him to find the right quarterback if Nix isn't that guy? Ownership has done more than enough to give Payton what he wants.
I agree, but here's the thing. Then Payton's not getting another year.
I was just going to ask you. That was my next question.
Because no, see, I'm with that. And I've always said this, that, we really haven't seen what this Bronco ownership kind of let Sean Payton do, right? With the whole Russell Wilson money. Because as much as you want to say about it, Jen, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of stuff on the cap, right? That wasn't the original plan. The original plan was to sign him, extend him, and go with him. Okay. So, hey, that's fine. If you don't want to give, but you can't, I'm not going to keep Sean Payton and say, you're not drafting a quarterback, then I'm not keeping Sean Payton. I got to go get myself a quarterback and say, hey, do you want Quinn Ewers and Shador Sanders or Carson Beck, or do you want Bo Nix? And you'll make that decision. Like, I'm not letting Sean Payton do that. Absolutely not.
Keith has another great question here. He's saying, so far you guys opened up on the road at Seattle with a loss. Now you're coming for your home opener. You're hosting the Steelers. He said, if we lose at home, look at the schedule and tell me, when will we get our first win? Let me read you, right? So let's say, lose at home. Next you travel to Tampa Bay. Is that a win or a loss?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Again, it's a winnable game. I mean, it's a winnable game. I mean, I don't know. I want to. There's no reason. There's no reason why you shouldn't win this game at home.
No. We're beyond this game at home. He's saying,
okay.
let's say we lose our home opener. Let's go through. When do you get our first win? I'm asking,
hard.
is it at Tampa Bay?
Yes.
So you think the next game? Okay. All right.
I'm saying it's going to be hard. And then they got to go to the Jets.
Right.
That's
well, I'm asking you, is the next win at Tampa Bay if you lose at home?
I hope so. I mean, I think, honestly, and we said this last week, I think they have to be 3-3 after 6. However it gets from 3-3, right? Because you got you got
the Bucs
at home, at Tampa Bay, at the Jets,
home against the Raiders.
Yep, and then the Chargers,
and then home against the Chargers.
Right. So you have to be 3-3. However, it's 3-3. That really doesn't matter. But that's I think the worst case scenario. They should be their goal should be 3-3, because you go to Seattle, you go to Tampa, and you're going to the Jets. I mean, those are 3 hard games. All right, let's be realistic. They're 3 hard games. So now whether you win one, hey, if you lose the 3 on the road, okay, you win the 3 at home, you're 3-3. If you lose one at home, now you got to pick one up, and you got to either steal one in Tampa or the Jets. Again, not impossible, but it's not going to be easy. So I think that should be their goal, 3-3 after 6.
All right, let's move on to let's look ahead here to Pittsburgh. All through the night in our comments, we've had Pearl mention how good their defense is. David mentioned that Steelers fans travel, so don't expect it to be as quiet as everybody's thinking there, right? So let's talk a little bit about your keys to the game for Sunday. What do you think the Broncos? First, let's do let's do defensively first, if you don't mind, what they need to do defensively under Vance Joseph, and then we'll shift to the what you think your offensive keys to the game are.
Again, keys to the game, they have to shut down the Steelers' run game, and they have to just contain Justin Fields running. Make Justin Fields beat you through the air. I mean, again, he is a run-first quarterback. He I mean, really, what did he do in Atlanta last week? Not pretty much nothing as a quarterback, running around, kick field goals. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to do what Seattle did second half, line up and run the ball. They're going to keep the hands, the hands out, out of fields unless they're going to run it. So again, stop him on direct runs, stop him on any kind of scrambles, and shut down their run. That's what you have to do. If you make him a passer and he beats you through the air, hey, tip your cap, say congratulations. I
Peter
don't think
jumps
we can
in
do it.
saying the same exact thing. He said,
That's
"Stack
it.
the box, let Fields beat you."
That's it.
Oh, any more keys?
Those are my two keys defense.
Okay, all right. What was I going to say before we get to your offensive keys? In the first 6 games, you said the Broncos need to be 3-3. Keith's saying, "I hate to be this guy, but he bets it's 1-5."
Okay.
All righty. All right. Go ahead to your uh before we get to that, he wants to know, do you spy Justin Fields on defense?
Yeah, I like that, but I want to spy him with again, I'm not going to say I'm going to find somebody that is equivalent speed wise, but this is where Vance Joseph has to get creative, right? Like I don't want to be spying him with I don't know, and with our inside linebackers, I don't want to be spying with him. Give me somebody in the secondary. Give me somebody, give me a safety that's going to roll up and, not, maybe not let Fields see where that spy is, because that's like the creativity. Like that's the stuff where Vance Joseph has to help out this week. Okay. You can't just be like, okay, well, our middle linebacker's A and your quarterback's B. And well, if B's faster than A, you're going to get us every time. Like, I know that. Everybody knows that. So don't use him. Don't use our middle linebackers. Let's get creative. Let's get another safety. Hey, let's go into like nickel or dime and I don't know. He's got to do something creative, though, that just can't be like, well, if Fields is faster than our inside linebacker, what's the use of spying? Like, no, I don't want that. Be creative.
Michael's saying he doesn't know if you guys have anybody that can be a spy on Fields, and Peter Johnson saying the spy can't be one player. You got to mix it up.
Exactly.
And David Slade saying he's tried to defend Vance Joseph. He just can't do it any longer. He cannot adjust mid-game.
Nope, he can't. Again, I will say this again. When we're ready to win a championship, he will not be our defensive coordinator. He can't. He's not a championship defensive coordinator. I'm sorry. He's never been. He's never been. He's never shown big games, winning in big games, and getting the team off the field. Again, as much as our offense struggled, or much as our offense could have put away, you had them 3rd and 11. You jump off sides, and then you give up the first down. He didn't do his job. I'm sorry. I'm not going to put the blame on, okay, I blame the defense. No, I'm not saying that. But I'll say this. He did not do his job. The whole second half, but that last drive, give the ball back to Bo Nix and let your $18 million quarterback and your $18 million head coach and first round quarterback see what they got to win the game. But we couldn't get off the field.
Well, we had a couple people commenting about Aaron Rodgers here. Pearl is saying that she was disappointed in the Jets and Rodgers last week, and she felt Rodgers was limping. Michael is saying that the Aaron Rodgers is not the same anymore, and Keith is saying that he tried to tell you that Aaron Rodgers is washed up, but you wanted him to be a Bronco.
I still do want Aaron. Listen, I like Aaron Rodgers. I'll tell you what was more disappointing in that game, Jen, was the defense by the Jets. Like we were talking about this on K&K. News breaks, McCaffrey's out, and you're like, wow, Rodgers is there. This defense is going to be salivating, whatever. And just Kyle Shanahan went to that again, worst coaching staff now. That combination. Oh my God. But again, both of them, they should be coaching high school football next year, because that offense and defense, a combination with the Jets, I'm sorry. They had no answer. You just got it. Nobody even knew who this guy Mason was. And here comes Shanahan just dicing him up. But Rodgers is still going to be fine. I mean, the Jets are a team where It's kind of like the Jets remind me of the first year of the Peyton Manning team, right? I think what was
Mhm.
Denver? Were they 1-3, I believe, 2-2 or 1-3? They might have been, and they win all those games late. Listen, you get late in the year, you go into a postseason, you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers if you're playing against them. The Jets will be there at the end of the year.
All right, so we did your defensive keys to the game. How about your offensive keys to the game for the Denver Broncos on Sunday as they take on the Steelers?
Well, first off, we have to run the ball. Okay. We cannot have the ratio of pass run like we did on Sunday. You don't win like that in the NFL, especially with a rookie quarterback. You don't. And you see a lot of these teams, like I said, mentioned before, smart teams, right? Remember, Jen, when I said about Jim Harbaugh, right? Everyone's gonna look, I gotta get the stat, but Justin Herbert, I think he threw for like 140 yards, Justin Herbert. So people are going to be like, his like QBR was like 39 or, oh my God, what happened to Justin Herbert? What happened to him? He's not good anymore. Jim Harbaugh is doing? Attaboy, Justin, because that's how you win. They ran for, how was it? 176 yards. They ran for 6.5 yards per carry. And you know what, Justin? Go make 2-3 plays. Throw a touchdown. But you know what? Would you rather throw for 500 yards and lose the game, Jen, or throw for $140 and win the game?
I'd rather win the game, of
I'd rather win
course.
the game, right? Jim Harbaugh knows the way to do it. Just keep running the ball Sunday. Keep running the ball. Number 2, attack them over the top, right? They're saying, hey, I don't respect little Jordan Humphrey. I don't either, right? So little Jordan Humphrey shouldn't be running post and go routes. Get Mims in there. Get Franklin in there. Get some speed in there. Create formations that's gonna get you an over the top guy that's gonna loosen everything up. Take your shots with that. So run game, you have to run it. Listen to me. They're gonna come after him. They're gonna show him stuff. Get him early completions. Hey, screens this way, like wide receiver, quick screens. But stretch the field a little bit. If you got hey, Mims might have to play a lot. We talk about developing, wasting draft picks. We had a draft move up to get this guy last year. He should be in. He should be in 80% of the run, the pass plays here. He ain't doing anything. Okay, well, we didn't draft him to be a punt returner and a kickoff returner as a second rounder. He's got to get involved in the offense. He's our speed guy. Let's get Franklin there. Let's go.
Keith's giving his offensive keys to the game. He's saying Nix can't stare down his number one receiver. Secondly, Nix needs to push the ball beyond 12 yards. And thirdly, then the run game has a chance and they can take advantage of that.
You still got to run the ball first. You still have to come out and establish the run. If you can't run the ball in the NFL, you're in trouble. It's not going to work. You could see all you want. You could take Mahomes, the best quarterback in football, go back to the Super Bowl where they couldn't run the ball and he was just dropping back and teams were teeing off on him. You don't win like that in the NFL. Just throwing in sling around. You have to establish the run game. If you can't run the game, you're not going to win.
Kurt, I of course want to get your winner and a score. And I want to encourage all of the people who are watching to drop in the chat who they think will win and what they think the score will be. So, Kurt, you want to give your prediction and a score if you want?
Yeah, again, this is, was I upset on Sunday? Of course I'm upset. And plus I'm upset because we could have won that game. You go in there, it passed the eye test, right? Bo Nix passed the eye test on the road. I was so worried about the game. He's not going to be able to, with the hearing it. And you know what? He just settled down. You look at that. Oh, another key too. Let's get a little up tempo, right? We put, and I heard Bo Nix say this in an interview today. Both times they went no huddle up tempo, scored a touchdown fourth quarter, right before the half, the 2-minute drill, they got 3 points out of it. Let's stay in that. That's something he likes. Hey, you know what? That was huge in the Shanahan era, right? Huge when we got Manning, right? No huddle that team. Again, that doesn't mean you have to go super fast. You're not playing like Oregon, but hey, no huddle. They can't sub. You can't sub. You keep them on the field. You're tired with the altitude. Let's see a little of that. That's another key. Go up tempo. You don't have to do it every series, but let this kid play in an up tempo system.
All right, we're getting some predictions in the comments, so let's get your game prediction.
Um,
Don't look at those comments and
I
sweat
am. I
you.
am.
I see you looking.
I'm going to take Denver, Jen. I'm going to take Denver at home. I agree with Dave. You are going to have Steeler fans. Steelers are probably the best fans that travel, so they go they're all over the country without a doubt. But I think this team's going to be fired up. I trust. Not only do I trust Sean, I have to trust him because why, Jen?
Oh, that was my question for you. You're finally going to say it. I haven't heard it all night because you're in bed with Sean Payton.
We are all bed. I'm in bed. Keith's in bed. Patrick saying hello, aloha, Mr. and Mrs. V. He's in bed. Pearl's in bed. David Slade doesn't even know it. He's in bed with Sean. Trevor's in bed with Sean. Roy's in bed with Sean.
Gonna need a
Wayne's not
bigger
even
bed.
on. Wayne's not even on tonight, but tonight he's going in bed with
You know
Sean.
why? Because he's in bed with Sean.
He's in bed with Sean. We're all in bed with Sean. We have no other choice. We are all bed. That's how it is with Sean. When you
All
get
right,
a guy
Kurt,
like
let's
Sean,
get
you're
your
in.
prediction.
I'm going Denver. I'm going to go 24-20 Denver.
All right, let me get some of these other predictions. David, he's picking Steelers by a score of 31-13. Keith picking Steelers by a score of 17-8. Peter picking the Broncos 15-12. Michael saying Steelers 31-24. And Pearl saying she just wants the Broncos to win. She's going with the Broncos. And I think that was all of our predictions here. I want to make
So
sure I
let me
didn't miss
ask you what.
anybody.
Can I ask you a
Yes,
question? Are you a little disappointed Wilson's not going to be playing this game?
I am. I am. I'm not gonna lie. I am. I do wish he was playing. Yes.
Do you think that hurts or helps the Broncos that he's not playing?
I think it helps them. I do. Yeah.
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 You're going to have the motivated guy coming back.
Yeah.
The team rallying
You know,
around him.
it just takes that factor completely away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like,
don't
let's
like
just
that.
treat it like another game, you
Yeah,
know?
I've always, okay, here comes the team. We had a win for him. And I don't like going
All
against.
right, we got another couple predictions here.
Okay.
Graham is saying Steelers 27-16. Patrick is saying if Wilson's playing, Denver 21, Pittsburgh 14.
Yeah, but he is out. Fields is
Yeah.
playing.
Peter
So
saying I wish he was. I would have started Fields over him anyway. Wilson is finished.
do you think so, Jen?
Um I don't know. I'm going to be honest. If you'd asked me that like a week ago, I would have said no. But I don't know with this injury. And is he really injured? Is he just losing it? I don't know. I don't know. Patrick saying no Wilson, Denver 17, Pittsburgh 14. All
Okay.
right, Kurt, let's get your closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts again. Upset? Of course. You want to win that game. And you had every chance to win that game. I mean, up until that last play. I forgot who made the comment today, but they nailed it. Like this game should have been over by half. Defense made plays for us. Hey, you can't kick field goals. You can't fall down when you could walk into the end zone. You can't drop passes. You can't throw it, into triple coverage. Offense had every chance, but hey, if you said to me, if I said to you, Jen, Denver's going to lose opening day at Seattle, I would probably say probably. Would you?
A strong possibility.
Yeah. So listen, nothing, this game's going to bother me more because you're at home in front of a fired up crowd. You know, Bo Nix's debut, there's against Justin Fields. There's no reason you should not win this game. Are the Steelers defense good? Is the Steelers good? Of course. But you know what? This is a defense where, listen, Pittsburgh's going to run the ball right down our throat. That's what they're going to try to do. So you know what, Vance Joseph? You better have a plan. And when he's not running it down your throat, Justin Fields is going to be running around like a punt returner. So you know what, Jen? Vance Joseph, you better have a plan because that's what they're going to do. They're not gonna come out and throw it 40. They're not gonna do that. Can he stop them? And you know what? Hey, I have my faith. So I'm taking the Broncos. I think it's going to be electric atmosphere. I think, and I think we're going to see a better Bo Nix every week. Bo Nix every week better, every week better. And you know what? Come week 17, this is the guy. We're not going with a guy next year to this is our guy. He's our franchise guy. That's what matters. And I think we're going to start seeing that on Sunday.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching, for commenting, and good luck to all of you fans and the Broncos on Sunday.
Have a good